Passengers arriving into Dublin Airport are continuing to report problems with their luggage. Some are complaining on social media about long delays and even lost baggage. Joining me for the latest is editor of Air and Travel magazine, Eoghan Corry. Morning, Eoghan.
Good morning.
I thought this was behind Dublin Airport and they had gotten their house in order.
It's got better, but you're dealing with two separate issues there. There's actually the time for delivery of bags that has been an ongoing problem. The lost bags, it's still there. They're not being lost at the scale that they were in the height of summer, but we are still dealing with about 3 to 350 lost bags for each of the operators. The way it works is that two of the airlines are to handle their own bags. Ryanair have had pretty much a squeaky clean summer. The only airline people weren't giving out about, which is a change. And Aer Lingus, most of their problems came out of the Heathrow transfers. The two baggage handling companies, a little bit more complicated. They were caught with that staffing shortage, let about 40% of their staff go during COVID, and then had difficulty getting rehire, security clearances, drivers, all of those sort of things. And they're still dealing with the residue of that problem. I had a look myself coming through that big baggage mountain we used to see in the arrivals hall. It's gone down to a small hill at this stage.
Well, the DAA were on to us to say that it's not their responsibility, it's the responsibility of the individual baggage handling.
That's correct. They put the hall and they build the hall and everybody else operates it. Obviously, there are implications with the DA for all of that very complicated thing of security clearances, which got more complicated earlier this year, and the knock-on problems for that, they weren't really apparent to anyone until the summer came and the big crowds came.
Is it not core business for airlines and baggage operators to move bags efficiently through airports? I mean, is that not the absolute heart of what they're meant to be able to do?
Absolute heart, and they were very good at it. Over the last 20 years, lots of things have happened in aviation. The safety record has really, really been spectacular. The way baggage, the technology they brought to bear, they stopped using paper tags. They could scan an entire truck and find a bag in a second. If somebody missed a connection, their bag we could make sure it didn't get on the flight. The technology was awesome and jaw-dropping, and everything was working very well as long as you personnel, because you still need big burly men, and it's usually men, to load the trucks, to load the bags. You were taking bags off aircraft, not bringing them into any hall at all, bringing them onto the next aircraft. The luggage lost rate had come down. But when you come to that stage when the technology is working so well, and things go wrong, the safety net is no longer there. The extra personnel that were there, when things started going wrong in Toronto, which is one of the more spectacular, and Heathrow, which was well publicised, Amsterdam well publicised, it went wrong very quickly. Some people are saying it's going to take right through the winter to get back on top of that baggage to that level of efficiency that we had before.
Before I let you go on, news today that Dublin Airport is seeking to build a €200 million tunnel under the runway. They've lodged plans today. What do they want a €200 million tunnel for?
Just to move things quicker. We've gone from 20 million passengers a few years ago to it's going to be well back to the 32 million level. It means that if aircraft movements, if passenger movements, busing movements all have to come to a halt as things move around in that apron, it's become very, very busy. The delays bring things to a halt effectively. So the only answer to that is to tunnel, and they're looking for permission to do that. We also have another story, which is one of the Romanian airlines, Blue, is effectively shut down for 2 weeks. Doesn't look good for them, and that's a big implication for the Romanian population in Ireland. They operate flights back to Romania, daily flights, 2 daily flights.
Owen, thank you very much for that.
Always a great pleasure.
Corry, who is journalist and editor of Air and Travel magazine.